Blood from the scripture, stitching 1W, nigga. I'm here to trouble you. Problems, then I'ma troubleshoot. Rich niggas won't fuck with you, my people, so I'm comfortable. Usher you to the upper room, truly we the untouchable. Fully automatic boss status. 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 I'm here to conquer, word is fun, telling my sponsor get it on. She got the beauty in the prom, booty eating the thong. Wisdom I never found while your bishop raping your dog. With the foot is breaking it off, so I'm ruthless about the law. Killing these Christians with a cross of religion. You're living false, it's hostility in your thoughts. So I'm coming through with the salt. Kentucky ain't over my chipper, we're indigenous. We'll call it coup de grace. Taking the scepter off the mantle like Moses before the battle. The chariots in the rattle. We riding out while the shadows. We copycat get the gallows. We coming out of the shadow. And then resurrect. You get let one. Fully automatic ball status. Fully automatic ball status. Fully automatic ball status. Fully automatic ball status. Fully automatic ball status.
I face the east when I pray, but it's one west. All this camouflage on me, I'ma work that. UBK gonna rule, I ain't far-fetched. You niggas want world peace like Ryan Ortez. Hey, took it and ran with it. The old me had to die for me to transition. All the bitches closed down is a pandemic. But UBK and area hood like transmission. You can think the general, I am the bar. A lot of niggas running out of time like I out of more. Red cup like label, I'm a connoisseur. I'ma leave it wet if I draw the sword. Nigga, it's Dakota conduct. Put on all black and some rank, I know he solid. She ain't gotta get naked, she know she poppin'. We was yelling back up way before the virus. Hey, most high Christ, this type of life ain't for the weak, you gotta sacrifice. Give it up. We sin unaware. Niggas go against the grain like they couldn't hear. But I'm a priest and prophet, I gotta teach. You might not get to see me 7 days out the week. You got questions, we got breakdowns. UBK about to spread like a breakout. Refuge, this is a safe house. Not too many take this road, but it's a safe route. Babylon gon' fall, just let it play out.
Fully automatic ball status. Fully automatic ball status. Fully automatic ball status. Fully automatic ball status. Fully automatic ball status.
Yeah, Babylon is falling to rise no more. Babylon is falling, rise no more. Falling to rise no more. Falling to rise no more. I'm taking a look in the streets. It's really every day what I see. We constantly searching for peace. My people just wanna be free. We tired of the cell blocks and the bullshit. That lying nigga in the pulpit. Same shit, but a different day. I speak truth, they ain't come to play. You in the way, better move, nigga. That follow no way gon' be cool, nigga. Say you gon' get that tool, nigga. My attack get you out too, nigga. You see the signs that's in front of you? Shots in the rough from up under you. Shit is gon' fall, yeah, I promise you. Make up your mind what you gonna do. You heard it? Now listen. Your life, my business. You are my brother. We need each other. This truth, I live it. I will defend it. You are my brother. You are my brother. Yeah. Babylon is falling to rise no more. Babylon is falling to rise no more. Falling to rise no more. Falling to rise no more. Hey, my brother, yeah. Get Put your hands up, it's a war now. Take a good look at this world. It's time to go hard, don't be scared now. I know you're feeling the stress. Look on your face, yeah, and I need some help. But we made it happen with less. You in my blood, I feel what you felt. Let's trust in every corner. Every day I feel like a loner. Keeping the faith, that is my armor. This is a test, but nothing can harm you. Don't be scared of truth when you hear it. Don't compromise your spirits. Don't be trying to live like these white folks. Don't be trying to chill with these white folks. Brotherhood is a weapon, and that's the shit that I stand for. If you keep the law and live it, now you a nigga I'll stand for. Got no time for that fake shit. That's the shit I can't stand, bro. Still believe in that flag. So what the hell do you stand for? Babylon's falling. Babylon is falling. Rise no more. Falling. To rise no more.
All right. Let's see. Get a couple comments on here. All right, let's go ahead and clap it up. All right. Go ahead and read what we are. Shalom Yabashim Ashar Brakatha told the brothers, Brakathum told the brothers, Yahweh Shalom Thumb Bashim Ashar told the sisters, Shalom, Lord in Christ, Officer Shabal. How you doing, sir? Shalom Yabashim Thumb Bashim Ashar to Sister Manawa checking in. What's on Christ? Before we get into class, I'll go ahead and read what the ISUPK is about. You find us on ISUPK.com. In ISUPK, we're educating Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians about their true heritage according to the Bible. Once our people begin to follow the law, statutes, and commandments in the Bible, God or Yahweh in the Hebrew will have mercy on us and will send Christ to free us from our oppression. Using the Bible, the ISUPK will fix all the problems in the so-called Black, Latino, and Native Indian community, turning their lawless and immoral people into a righteous and law-abiding people. The true nationality of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, and West Indians of North, Central, and South America are the true lost tribes of the nation of Israel. All right. And Yahweh Shai Mashiach, or Jesus Christ in the English, is our King. Before we get into tonight's topic, this is a Thursday scripture breakdown. I'm Precinct Officer 5000, Kasar Pakad. Are there any questions in the room or online? Go ahead.
I was going to ask, how do you know the significance of your dream? Or how do you know if the Lord is...
Matter of fact, grab the mic, bro.
So my question is the significance of dreams, and how would you know if the Lord is speaking to you in a dream?
Right. Okay. Ask you a question back. How would you know if anything is of the Lord? Ask you that.
If it's good, I would say it comes from the Lord.
Well, you setting it up for something I was gonna bring out later on in class. I might have to bring it back later in class, but for right now, okay. If it's good, what defines good? Your own.
Not your own.
How you feel about it?
But if you can see that it's like bringing like constructive things to your life, you can see it.
Okay, so what if a threesome was good to me in my mind? Right. What if selling drugs is what I felt was good to me?
Not a feeling, but like you can, like if you base it off of the scripture.
Okay. So last question, I'll go ahead and break it down. The brother's question was, how do you tell a dream? is of the Lord versus just some random dream that you're having? All right, Most High in Christ. So I'm asking the brothers, how do you know anything is of the Lord in life? You know what I mean?
I would say it matches up with the scripture.
Right. You on to it. So let me go ahead. Let me get Genesis chapter 25. Verse 22. We might go up a little bit. Let me get there with you. Genesis 25. So I got this right past the 2. 25, verse 22. Yeah, you started verse 22.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
She did what?
She went to inquire of the Lord.
Keep going.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Right. So now we got this situation where Rebecca is going through labor pain. She's dealing with this. It's supposed to be a blessing from the Lord, but she's having a lot of pain because the babies are struggling within her womb. We know this is Jacob and Esau. This is how we know we've been mortal enemies since before we were born. You know, and that's deep. Like the backdrop or the backstory of the movie of blacks and Latinos and Native American Indians versus Esau goes all the way to the womb. Like, who you couldn't make a Marvel movie better than, you know what I'm saying, than that. But sidebar on that. She wanted to inquire of the Lord. Read that part again one more time, verse 22.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Right.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Right. So in John chapter 1, verse 18, it says that no man has seen the Father, right? No man has seen the Most High. So how can it be that no man has seen the Lord and she went and talked to the Lord? She went and talked to his prophets. So drop that. Give me 1 Samuel 9 and verse 9. Chapter 9, verse 9. Well, good shot. And this is what you need to have this understanding, right?
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 9, verse 9. Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer. For he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer.
Right. So at the time when someone wanted to inquire, have a question of God, is this what you want? Is this something righteous? Is this what I need to do? Is this what I need to stop doing? They would go and inquire a prophet of the Lord, what they would call a seer, someone that has divine knowledge. You understand what I mean? And so that's how it was. It wasn't some TV movie, what was it, Bruce Almighty, where you open up the sky and some hand is coming down and saying, my son. It was brothers and sisters were going to the prophets, and the prophets were dealing with angels. Angels were coming and speaking and representing the Lord. No different than if I'm going to do something in the UPK, I'm giving out an order that comes from Commander General Yohana. You may not see him, but it came from him. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how things work with the truth. I'll give you one more precept. Let's go to Genesis chapter 40 and verse 8.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 40, verse 8. And they said unto him, we have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you.
Right. So they had a dream. They didn't know what it meant, and they wanted to get an interpretation. And so they had to come to find someone to interpret it. So today, it would be the same thing. You would go to the priests and prophets of God and get an interpretation. In the ISUPK, we would say you would go to, you can go to your camp leader first and see, and most likely he's going to send you in the direction of General Muhammad. General Muhammad would break down your dream, explain to you. It's just, well, what movie did you watch? You were watching Transformers last night and you seen a whole bunch of robots. It's probably, that's what it was. You know what I mean? You've been listening to this music all day. That's what the dream was. Or it may be something that is of the Lord. And that's how you would know. You would go to an interpreter, a priest and prophet, formerly known as a seer, you know, in the Bible. Shalom, Yabashim Ashar Bagatad, Officer Natazah, Osan Christ. Yep. He said you get counsel from General Muhammad. Yep. That's it right there. So yeah, that would be it. Hold on, Claire. You're gonna have to wait a little bit, all right? All right. If I may, let's see. Let's go ahead and get to tonight's topic. The name of the class is The Power of Obedience. Go ahead and get these precepts. The power of obedience. And if I may, I was going to ask you to look it up, but we got Alexa. Let's see how Alexa works. Alexa, what is the definition of obedience?
Obedience is usually defined as the state or quality of being obedient. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for obedience.
Give me more definitions of obedience. Give me more definitions of obedience. I don't know how to work this thing. Alexa, give me more definitions of obedience. The water.
I have 4 more definitions for the noun.
Right.
Obedience. 1. The act or practice of obeying, dutiful or submissive compliance. 2. A sphere of authority or jurisdiction, especially ecclesiastical. 3. Conformity to a monastic rule or the authority of a religious superior, especially on the part of one who has vowed such conformance.
That's enough.
4. The rule or authority.
That's enough, Alexis. That's enough.
Did that answer your question?
That answered my question. I'm gonna have to get the swing of this Alexis thing. That's my first time using it. But one of the things it said was a monastic rulership, like obeying a king, a leadership, the law of the land. Obedience is ecclesiastical, meaning some type of spiritual obedience. All of those things are applied into the definition of obedience, submission, following, taking orders, obeying orders that are given. There's power in obedience, and that's what the Lord has commanded of the children of Israel. Certain things, situations you might deal with your friends in the world, you tell them for the first time, you know, you tell people they can't eat pork. They've heard things like this before because of Muslims and other, you know, different religious groups. We say things like we're not allowed to get tattoos, or we're not allowed to get shape-ups, line-ups. Then you might meet somebody and they'll be like, you know, the Lord cares about you getting the shape-up. That sounds crazy. Sounds ridiculous that God cares about if you get a lineup or not. But there's a reason why the Lord doesn't want us to get lineups. I'm going to ask you to see if you, what do you think? What would you say?
I would say it's a law in Leviticus.
Right, but why were these laws set in place? What's the spirit behind it? What's the purpose behind it?
To set us apart from the other nations.
Damn right. That's it right there. That's the perfect answer, straight to the point. To separate us from the other nations. And specifically, when we were coming out of Egypt, the Lord put in a lot of these laws were to distinguish us from the Egyptians. The culture of the Egyptians was against the culture that the Lord wanted for his children. And so you look at their paintings, their sculptures, their murals on their walls and their tombs. The Egyptians are always barefaced. They always might have a little beard that comes down like this, but you never see the Egyptians rocking beards. That's not the culture in ancient Egypt. And so we got a few I'm gonna go into. I'm gonna try this election thing. I might not like this Alexis thing. I might just go the old school way. Have brothers, we're gonna see how it works out for now. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yashar Bagatha. Yahweh Shemar Latha Bashim Yashar says. All right. Alexis. What's her name? Alexa? Alexa, what's the definition of culture?
As a noun, culture is usually defined as the quality in a person or society that arises from a concern for what is regarded as excellent in arts, letters, manners, scholarly pursuits, etc. As a verb, culture is usually defined as to subject to culture, cultivate. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for culture.
Alexis, give me more definitions of culture. I feel like my grandma now. I'm gonna call her the wrong name every time. Alexa. Yeah, I can't do it. I'm gonna have to use this on my own time. Somebody go Google culture in their phone, Baba Gashak, because this is a specific definition I want. Go ahead.
Alexa, give me the definition of culture.
They gave us one, but we want more. I didn't like what it said. You know what I mean?
As a noun, culture is usually defined as the quality in a person or society that arises.
Alexa, stop. Yeah. And Alex, whatever his name is, I don't know. I'm gonna call him Alex. Baba Gashak, I gotta look right here, but. All right, go ahead. What you got? Let me see if it's what I want.
The definition of culture: the customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation.
That's it. That's what I want.
Other social groups.
I'm cool on the food, the water. That's the one. One more time.
The definition of culture: the customs, the arts,
the social institutions,
and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group.
Right. So the customs, the things that you do that are accepted way of behaving. That's the definition of a custom. Doing something specific to a society, the institutions and achievements of a particular group. So the nation of Israel, we have to have our own culture. We have to have our own way of life that's different from every other group on earth. And so I think about the movie 300. So a few different ways you can have this understanding. Who's here seen the movie 300? Can y'all remember? I know it was a little back in the days. In that movie 300, y'all remember it was a certain point where they were talking about the different armies that were coming up against them. They're like, there's this type of army, and they all do this, and they all dress like that. Then they got the ones that are doing magic, and they throwing little magic. You know what I mean? All of them were dressed the same. They got the immortals. Nobody could mess with them. Everyone had the mask and the black, and they had a certain style of fighting and everything. Like movies like The Warriors back in the days, any gang movie, Colors for the sisters, the movie Grease. Y'all know in the movie Grease, you had one gang of car club and another group. And you could tell how they were by the way they dressed. And then they had the good kids that his girlfriend was with. You could tell who they were and who their group was by the way they dressed and the things that they did. So all of I'm saying is that in order to have an identity, you have to do something different from someone else. How can you be on a sports team if you're all wearing the same colors? How can you know who's the opposition when you go into war or battle if everyone looks the same? You see what I mean? That's why this culture over here, the Crips, they wear blue. This one over here, the Bloods, they wear red. How are we gonna be out? We're a group now. In Chicago, they call them the Vice Lord Nation, GD Nation. They got thousands of members. Everyone doesn't know everyone, but there has to be things that you do that I can identify. The way you put your hand sign, the way you wear your clothes. You have the flag over here. You do your hat to this way, to that way. It has to be different than the other group to separate yourself from them in order to protect yourself from the enemies. You see what I mean? So the Lord put these things in place for the children of Israel to separate us from our opposition, from the ops. We can't look and dress like the Egyptians when they're the enemies of our people. We can't talk and walk like them when the Lord hates them. And so there's power in obeying the Lord. You see what I mean? That's what gives you power. And just to go a little bit more into this example, and we'll get to the precept of if even out here in the gangs in LA, the cats, they started to wear the opposite colors because of the police. Like Nipsey Hussle was a famous Crip in LA, but in a lot of his videos, he's wearing red. And he was doing it for one, because they're trying to unite the Bloods and the Crips on some level. And the other reason is the police were identifying them too easily. So they figured we have a bigger enemy. It's not these niggas across town, it's the police. So we need to blend in. You see what I mean? And so when we don't have our own culture and we have no culture, hold on, let me see. I'll give you the definition of society. Look at the definition of society. Give me the definition of society, Bob. Good shot. We're going to run down through a few definitions before we really get into these precepts.
The definition of society: the aggregate of people living together in a more or less orderly community.
Right. Anything else?
The community of people living in a particular country or region and having shared customs, laws, and organizations.
Right. It's a community of people that have a shared custom, laws, and organization. The customs that we have in the Bible are we don't get shape-ups. The customs that we have are we don't get tattoos. Right. The customs that we have are we don't eat pork. We don't eat shrimp. We don't eat crab. We don't eat lobster. The customs that we have are we don't commit adultery. We don't kill. We don't steal. We don't rob. These are part of our customs, our culture, and our laws. That's different than any other group on earth. That's where you can see someone coming down the street and he got tattoos on his face. Okay, that's not an Israelite. Okay, he got a lineup. That's not one of us. He's doing this. She's doing that. Sisters dressed like this. She's not one of our people. The messed up part about it is that the Lord commanded us so that everyone in our nation follow these rules. It's a problem when people in our nation don't obey these rules. And now you have people that look like the ops are really supposed to be your brother. Right. You have people that are doing things like you go on Facebook, you scroll and you see a Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian. I seen some of them nasty ones. Them girls, they eat big old crab legs, cracking them, drooling all over the place. To us, it looks disgusting. You know what I mean? And you're seeing these things, but you know that person's not in the truth. It don't take 1 second to see somebody eating some ribs. Okay, that brother is not in the school. That sister's not in the school. They're not obeying the laws of God. So let's go ahead and get Deuteronomy 7:6. Go straight to it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above who?
Above all people that are on the face of the earth.
What does the word holy mean in the Hebrew, young man? Do you know?
I believe it means set apart.
Do you know the word? It's Quadash. And it does mean to be set apart. Get a brother hand. It means to be separate. The Lord said the children of Israel are a holy people. We're not the Egyptians. Those are savage people. Those are animalistic people. Those are homosexual people. That's another law. The Lord said we cannot do the abominations of homosexuality because that's what the Egyptians do. That's what the Edomites do. That's what the Arabs and the Africans and all these other nations, that's what they do. You cannot be like them. This is our culture. This is our custom. All right. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 4. I think that's what I want. Matter of fact, 4 and 6. I always get them two back and forth. But
this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Right. The culture of the Israelites was wise, was understanding. we have a culture of brotherhood and sisterhood. These other nations, they don't have that. They don't care about each other. They will feed a rat to their brother because they want to make a profit. They'll feed bat and cat and dog to whoever, your nation, another nation, their people. This is how we know going to these Moabite restaurants is out of pocket. It's because they feed dog to themselves. So you know they'll feed it to you. What won't they give you if they'll eat anything? You see what I'm saying? They have no standards. We're a nation of standards. And matter of fact, I got one more definition. Give me the definition of civilized. The definition of civilized, man. But once again, Ake Magwathian, the topic of tonight's class is obedience is not a small thing, and there's power in obedience. All right? Specifically obeying the Lord. Go ahead.
Is the definition of civilized a place or people to state or stage of social and cultural development considered to be more advanced.
Right. A stage of human and social cultural development considered to be more advanced. So what's the opposite of civilized? Uncivilized. Somebody that's uncivilized is savagery, animalistic. To be civilized means that you're advanced. And this precept you just read says that the other nations will look at us as an advanced group of people. We're the civilized people. We're the ones that taught these other nations how to bathe. We taught the oppressors how to have hygiene and what's they call separation when you're going through quarantines. All these things are in our laws because the Lord wanted to raise us up above what? All nations of people. So that's the power and obedience. We don't obey the Lord and we wonder why we're so weak. We don't obey the Most High and we wonder why we're at the bottom of everything. And Salaki, before you know what I mean, I continue. See brothers in here falling in, eating shades on, man. Get y'all selves a hand, man. You know what I'm saying? This sisters in here, man. This is a glorious thing, man, to see people coming in the truth, looking strong, looking righteous, and being righteous, man. It's good brotherhood in this building. It's good sisterhood, man. But let's go to the next precept. Give me Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And if I may, if there are any questions before we continue, but I believe I heard a sister had a question earlier today. I can go ahead and answer it as far as the names. Is that correct? Correct. Why we get a name change in the UPK? Did someone answer to you? I can add on to it. Did you get an answer?
I would like for you to add on to it.
Okay, no sweat. We'll go ahead and do that as well. You got that though? Just hold that one. I might have to get some other preachers. We'll answer this question real quick. So the sister asked a question. Why? What exactly? Go ahead, ask it. If you can give her the mic. I know she's eating everything. Go ahead.
Hey, sir. There was a sister on the chat.
Mm-hmm. Shemaiah? Right.
She asked in the chat, sir. If I may, sir, she asked in the chat what, can I be more specific? So I asked to the sister, she asked,
While he's getting it, give me John chapter 3, verse 1. Yeah. That's a very important question. And that's what I'm saying. It is nothing too basic. We do a lot of things that we've been in the truth so long, it just seems normal. But coming into the school, everything is new. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with learning. Okay, why do we do this? Why do we say that? Even to this day, the smallest little things will come up and I'll realize like, dang, this is right here. You know what I mean? We'll say it in the announcement. I'll show you one of these precepts. We say in announcements every day, but there's nothing that we say. You'll start to see it all comes from this Bible, man. Everything we do, we get it out this book. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
It's like, sir, the question, sir?
Yeah, okay.
So the sister X in the chat, she said, can I get a precept, why our names were changed?
Okay. See, yeah, I didn't see the question, but my rib said it. She said it was your rib that asked the question, but it was the other sister. Okay, so that was a miscommunication. But yeah, why our names are changed. So here we go. John chapter 3, verse 1.
This is the book of John chapter 3, verse 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Jesus by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from God, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest, except God be with him.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 3. Yahushua answered and said unto him, Verily, verily I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God.
Right. So what does this mean? Go ahead. Look, you're right about this. We got to.
So like it, sir, is shedding yourself of the world.
Right.
And get into the truth.
Right. Becoming, except a man shed himself of the world. The things that he was doing before, because you weren't in the truth, when you're in the world, you have to be born again. This is how you enter into the kingdom. This is how you become who you're supposed to be, is by killing off everything that you did before. And that's what Christ was explaining to the brother. And you can go down further. You can go all the way down to verse 10, but for time's sake, we won't go into that. Matter of fact, let's go to verse 4. We'll go through it a little bit.
This is the book of John, chapter 3, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
Nicodemus saith unto him, How can a man be born when he is old? Can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? Verse 5.
Hold on. So this is the spirit of a Christian. The same day you see a Christian, they'll come to you, and you guys in the code, they change your name. If your mama name you Michelle, I'm gonna call you Michelle. If your daddy name you this, I'm gonna call you that. Your name's still Rico. Your name's still Dante. I'm not changing your name. But you know whose name they will accept? Whose name they will honor? If you change your son's name from Zion to Zaya, they'll call him a girl. They'll honor that. But you come into the truth and you say, I'm not smoking weed no more. I'm not getting tattoos anymore. I'm not eating shrimp and crab anymore. Oh, you just the same old Michelle. You the same old what's some other? You the same old Michael, whatever. You know what I mean? Nah, I'm a new man. I'm a new person. I don't do the same things. And that's how Nicodemus, he's like, how can you change who you are? How can you become born again? You're gonna go back into your mother's womb. Read verse 5.
The book of John, chapter 3, verse 5. Yahushua answered, Verily, verily I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of God.
Right. It's the spirit thing that has changed. It's not your flesh. You're born of the Spirit. And they didn't have the spiritual understanding of that. And so that's why you get a new name when you come into the truth, is because your whole spirit is supposed to change. You are a new person. And it's a benefit twofold of becoming new. Not only does it allow you to have a fresh start in your mind and to look at yourself differently and see how you have grown and changed and see how the things that you once did before were disgusting in the world. Like we all used to, no, I ain't gonna say we all, but a lot of us used to eat shrimp in the world. And then when you learn the truth, your eyes open, you're like, that really is like a little roach. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. I saw something with some crab the other day. It had lice in it. It was crawling out of it. It's disgusting. The pig it's a nasty animal, all those things, right? And just everything else that people were doing under the sun, man. You really learn, and you have a conscience because you weren't aware of the laws of God because no one taught you the laws. So your spirit has changed. You have a conscience about the things that you did before. Give me Ephesians chapter 5, believe, or is it chapter 4? Go ahead, Ak.
If I may, would another precept for that answer, would another precept be 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17?
That's a good one. That was the next one I had on the list. So we're gonna get these Ephesians ones. We can pull that one. That's it right there. Ak. Ephesians 4 and verse 21. We started verse 21.
Look, it's a-
No sweat. If anybody else grab it.
Ephesians, sir?
Yeah, Ephesians 4 and 21. Ooh, let the brother get. He got the microphone. But this is, when I say it's twofold, it's a good thing for you to change your behavior, but it's another thing that having a new name allows you to do for other people. I'll go ahead and explain that for time's sake. A lot of times people have been through traumatic things growing up.
it's like it's in Ephesians chapter 4.
4 and verse 21.
Okay.
All right. A lot of times people have been through traumatic things growing up. Your mother did this to you. Your father was abusive to you. Different sisters have been abused as children, etc. Some people have been, betrayed by family members, etc. Your name was whatever, such and such in the world. You become a new person. You don't have to be mad and can forgive your mother for being a horrible mother because of what? Go ahead.
Because you learned to forgive her because you've been born again.
A little bit. You are now brother so and so and so. You Kasar Bakar now. You Ragabar. You Tazabar, etc.
Okay.
You can forgive your mother for doing this to that person because of what? Go ahead, Yura.
Because she didn't have the truth. She didn't know any better.
It's on topic on the name chain. Go ahead, Tazabar.
Because you want to put everything back in the past. You want to let that old you go, that old whatever your mother did to you back in the day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You want to forgive that because you want to be forgiven for what you done.
Y'all on it, but it's one more specific thing I really want to have brought out. I had the brother in and get a sister one shot.
It's because that person is dead.
Damn right. Your mother wasn't a horrible person to you because you are now who you have become. You're this person that molested that child, that didn't happen to you. That happened to them. That person is dead. You don't have to carry that on anymore. You are a new person. You are a new creature in Christ. You see what I'm saying? And so that's an excellent way for your mind to give forgiveness to people or to put things away. You understand what I'm saying? And to get over things that you've been through. All right. But let's go ahead and read.
Okay. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 21. If so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Yahushua.
Keep going.
Verse 22. That ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts.
Right. You put off that old man, that old woman. Like, what do we say in the security announcements? Every day you do your 90 days to, how's it go, Yura? Shed yourself in the world. Right. And we always talk, become a new man or a new woman. You know what I'm saying? Those things that we say in the UPK, they come from the Bible. It's just not words that we just use. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything we use, we get out the book. So read verse 23, and we'll go on to the next topic.
It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 23. And be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on a new man, which after God is created in righteousness and true holiness.
Right. That's who you are. Now you have this name. All those things, it allows you to move forward. You don't have to keep holding yourself guilty and feeling ashamed of things that you've done before. You're a new person. You also have a new spirit on you. And so the things that you may have, you know, a lot of times, how do I want to say this in the right way? You can recognize if you're in a wrong environment and if it's trying to sway you to do something wrong, because everybody there don't call you by your Hebrew name.
Right.
The niggas that's passing you the blunt do not call you Kazak Ahmad. They call you J-Rock.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? J-Rock, you trying to come hit it? Okay, yeah. That nigga don't even know me. You know what I'm saying? He knows the nigga that died 2 years ago. You see what I'm saying? And so that gives you a little bit more strength too. All right. Get that precept that Uriah had. What was it? 2 Corinthians 5:17? Yep. And some other precepts that you want to go with that. You got Revelations 13:6, I believe, where it talks about being lukewarm. You don't want to be Revelations 13:16. So brothers can have that, add that into their precepts online, whatever. You don't want to be lukewarm. Once you got your name, you want to be hot for the Lord. And you want to keep going with that zeal that was given to you when you became the new person. All right. And then we'll get back to our topic unless there's any other questions in the room.
Revelations 13:16?
No, that was just giving them that, but I want the first, was it 1 Corinthians? 2 Corinthians 5:17. Go ahead, Tazaba.
No,
Yes.
I thought I was going to ask a question. I know y'all still breaking down.
Okay, no sweat.
Come on. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new.
Right. This is an example, man. In this room right here, brothers, sisters, doing things differently. You know what I mean? And they have grown and changed, man. And that's the importance of being a new creation in Christ. Like, no one could have done this thing. No one man could have changed the lives of this many people unless it was Christ. You know what I mean? People done tried it before. The evidence is in the Muslim mosque, the Nation of Islam. Niggas is wearing bow ties and handing out bean pies and selling heroin at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what's going on in the world. That's not change. It's not becoming new. It's becoming really more vile and disgusting because you're trying to appear righteous and you're doing evil things. All right, you got another question, Tazaba?
Come, sir. Yeah, I needed to break down on John chapter 1, verse 18. It says, "No man have seen God at any time."
Right.
But then Moses, Moses, it says he seen God.
Right.
Right. So I'm trying to cut a Christian. So
right. Okay.
Break down on that.
No sweat. So let's go to 1 Samuel 9:9. Go to that one real quick. Matter of fact, we were just bringing this out earlier. Go to Genesis chapter 25, verse 22 first. We're just gonna run down through this real quick. And that's, you said it was a Christian that asked you this question, or it was somebody that was just going against the Bible altogether?
Somebody was going against the Bible altogether.
Right. And that's a lot of the things that people who don't want to change their life, they find reasons to find a contradiction in the Bible. They don't know how to go against you not selling drugs anymore. They don't know how to say you being an honorable person is wrong. So they have to find something in the Bible that they feel like sounds like a contradiction to say that you're wrong for what you're teaching, because they really love the oppressor. They want to find a way to love your oppressor and say that God loves everyone, or you wrong for being militant. You wrong for saying that America is going to be destroyed. So the Bible is wrong, you're wrong, and look at this contradiction right here. You see what I mean? Well, go ahead.
Come on. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 32. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die.
No.
Oh, Slakia.
25 and what? 20, is that right? 25 and 22.
Come, Slakia. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
And the children struggled together within her.
Right.
And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Right. Keep going.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Right.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Right. So now go back to John chapter 1, verse 18. We're gonna have to get you a bigger sword, Doc. He working it though.
Come.
What's on Christ?
This is the book of John, chapter 1, verse 18. No man hath seen God at any time.
Right. So they, oh my God, we got you. It just said Rebecca went to go and inquire of the Lord, and the Lord gave her answer. And they, but it said no one has seen God, has seen the Lord. So how is it saying this here? And then you're saying that Rebecca went and talked to the Lord. Right. Now, keep going.
Come. The book of John, chapter 1, verse 18. No man hath seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him.
Right. So what is it saying? That Christ is the one that was sitting at the right hand of the Father. That's what Christ is the one that has seen the Lord. No one else has seen them. And you're hearing this precept about Moses. He talked to the Lord face to face. But go ahead and give me the one in 1 Samuel 9 and 9, and we'll close out. Hopefully this will answer the question or allow you to cut them. And I got another precept for you too, Tazabah, if you want to lock that one in as well.
Come.
Go ahead. If you got
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 9, verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, thus he spake, Come, and let us go to the seer, for he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer.
Right. And so you got that. You would go to the prophets. That's what Rebecca did. She went and talked to a prophet and asked them, and that's how they acquired of the Lord. And Moses, when he was dealing with the Lord, it was an angel that was speaking to him. It was the angels that was talking to Moses. It wasn't the Most High God. No different than today. If I say we all going to meet up at camp at 2:00, the order came down from Captain Cornwall, but I'm the one that gave it to you. See what I'm saying? He got the order from Commander General Yohana. You don't see Commander General Yohana, but you're getting the order from him to go to camp at this time. You know what I mean? And then, let's see, go a little bit clearer into this situation. The one in Numbers, the 12th chapter, where, let's get that one too. So, like, Lord.
Numbers chapter 12.
Yep. Numbers chapter 12, verse 6.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 12, verse 6. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream.
Right. So the way the Lord was speaking to brothers were in visions, in dreams. This is the typical way that the Lord was communicating with brothers. Keep going.
Verse 7. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all my house.
Keep going.
Verse 8. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and in the similitude of the Lord shall he behold.
Right. So when it's saying the Lord spoke to Moses directly, He's saying he's plain speech. He's not talking in coded language in a vision or a dream. You see what I mean? Like when you talk to Ezekiel, he said, I see 5 red horses. You got to sit back and think, okay, 5 red horses. What is this? What does that mean? You know what I mean? 5 red horses mean the 5 Roman emperors, blah, 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 etc. like that. The Lord spoke to Moses when he sent the angels to deal with him. They spoke to him directly. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. He was direct. He wasn't in coded language. That's what it means the Lord spoke face to face with Moses. It was direct. It wasn't dark sayings or things that had to be interpreted. It was direct speech. You know what I mean? Straight to the point. So those are the things in the other precept before he talks about would be Acts 7 and 55. What time do we got? 8:30. Let's see. Go ahead.
You think the Lord spoke to him in mouth to mouth because I think Moses was slow in tongue?
Lie. He spoke to Moses directly because of the job that Moses had to organize the children of Israel that had grown from just being 70 people coming into Egypt to hundreds of thousands of people. Like he had to lay down the laws of God to organize this nation, which is tying back into tonight's topic. Like he's showing us how to obey. If he just came out and he was like saying, well, 2 great goose and red fish, blue fish, yellow fish, what's that? You know what I mean? When 1 fish, 2 fish, eating mighty mo, niggas be like, okay, Moses, whatever, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Moses had to come out and lay down the law. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. And if you do this, we cut your goddamn head off. You understand? Come. I don't want to come. You know what I mean? That's what Moses, he had to get that power from the Lord to put us in line. You know what I mean? Because it was too many different ideologies. That's the one thing about Egypt. Egypt has so many different gods. It's so easy to be whoever you want to be, like America. That's why Commander Johanna always applies Egypt to America. Some people really worship the beetle god. Some people focused on the calf. Some people focused on ISIS and this and that. And they have a whole different breakdown. Well, what does ISIS mean to you? You go to 100 different people, they're going to tell you ISIS is 100 different definitions. He's trying to unite a nation to get us in line to really put us in a position of power. Yeah. So the one was Acts 7 and 55.
Come on. It's the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 55. But he being full of the Spirit, looked up steadfastly into heaven and saw the glory of God and Yahushua standing on the right hand of God.
Right. Of the Most High, right? So that's what Christ was sitting at the right hand of the Most High. That's a precept from John that you're reading, that no one has seen the Father except Yahushua. All right. So with that, if there's no other questions, we'll go back into tonight's topic of the power of obedience, the power of obeying the Lord. How do we apply that? How do we advance our school? How do we advance our families? How do we advance our nation with the power of obedience? Because what's the first thing that people are going to think? Oh, when you hear the word obedience, that makes you what? Well, you're right.
Submissive?
Right, and it makes you what, though? From a worldly, you obeying, that sounds what? There you go. Damn right. I know you're going to say the same thing. They think you sound weak. People try to cut us in the truth for having rank and order in the school. You let another man tell you what to do. That is a lack of brotherhood. These people that teach those things, they don't have brotherhood. They don't understand the power of being militant and how it brings order. And how, you know what? All these brothers in here obeying these rules and orders gives us all power. Power to go out and do things that you can't do by yourself. And those same people that have an issue with you obeying another man have a boss at work. The same people that say that issue, when the police pull them over, they pull over. When you owe taxes, they pay taxes. So all this about obeying, you know who they will obey? They obey your oppressor. They'll obey him in a heartbeat. They'll go to a prison and have someone strip you naked and tell you to bend over and cough, nigga. Salakia. And all we saying is, can you take the trash out? But there's something wrong with us. You give a nigga a celebration for coming home from prison. You go crazy and give your brother props, and they make it seem like it's a glorious thing to go to prison, where what you was doing for 5 to 10 years was letting another man tell you what to do every goddamn second of your life. And that was glorious, but you can't listen to a man tell you to do something righteous. There's something wrong with us. You see what I'm saying? And that's the same trick that Satan plays on the sisters as well. Oh, you're wrong for obeying your husband. What are you, a slave? How is he telling you to do this and do that? You have to listen to your husband. You should have your own mind. You grown. That's the demon. Hold your point. That's a demon. They tell you, oh, you grown. You don't have to listen to nobody. You should get your own career, your own job, and go to work and tell your boss, yes, sir. You want more cream in your sugar and your coffee, sir? How's your day? You know how to be real submissive to him. You know how to be real obedient to him. And he's the person that says, you know what, if you don't listen to me, I'm firing you. The same person you will obey your boss every day will fire you. You won't obey your husband, who will never put you away for anything other than adultery. The brother that will jump in front of a bullet for you, that's wrong for you. You're a fool. No, that woman that's telling you you're a fool, she's a fool.
That's right.
Because she doesn't have a man. And the man that she does have is weak. He's weak.
Right.
That's what's really going on. You see what I'm saying? They want you to be weak underneath who they think is okay. You can be weak underneath your boss. You can be weak underneath the police. You can be weak underneath the government. You can be weak under anybody except the people that really love you and really care about you. And that's nothing but Satan, all right?
That's right.
Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. Let's see.
Come on.
All right, go ahead when you got it. Oh, no, it's my fault. Salaki.
I just want to actually.
Let her get the mic, Baba Shah.
I just want to add to your point. You made a very valid point. I'm actually going through that right now, like a transition.
Right.
Because I'm new to the truth. So there's a lot of people that I was friends with now that suddenly started like disappearing. And
Right.
I'm not really hearing from them. I'm the problem.